Thank you for placing an order with Hema Gear Canada in partnership with Atelier Masquerade for one of our light fencing jackets. In this video, you're going to find out how to take measurements to ensure that your fencing jacket has the best fit possible. You are going to begin by punctuating the body, which means putting specific marks along the back and the spine from which all of your other measurements will take place. So I am going to ask you to turn around so that we can have you back to the camera. Excellent. Thank you. So the first thing you're going to note is the nape of the neck is going to be A, and I'm going to mark A right here just so that you guys can see what I'm doing. The next point that we are going to go for is the upper back. I'm going to ask you to raise your arms to the sides, all the way there. Perfect. You're going to kind of go from elbow to elbow, and you're going to mark where the tape intersects the spine. So for him it was right here. That's going to be your point J. In addition, feel free to relax your arms for a moment. You are going to take your tape. You're going to come underneath the underarm. I'm going to get you to raise this arm just once. Right up over top. And you'll notice that you're kind of in by the shoulder seam there. Just create a little dash mark that will help you separate what is the back and what is the shoulder. So we're going to do that to the other side as well. So right in the armpit there, up and around. If you're not sure, you can actually feel this is shoulder, dash marks here. All right, thank you. Point B is going to come from directly underneath the armpits as well. So we're just going to slide up a little bit. And again, you're going to bring it to where the tape intersects with the spine. That will be point B. Point C, some people have a tricky time with. The easiest way to find your natural waist first would be just to bend to the side a little bit. You kind of feel where your hand gets trapped underneath your ribs there. That would be your natural waist, right there for this guy. Perfect. So from that point there, I'm going to use my other hand. I'm actually going to point my thumb inwards towards the spine. If you're really good, you can slide your hand in towards the spine. If you're feeling a little not sure about that, take your tape and again, mark the spine intersection there. So this is point C. All right, and then finally for point D, it's going to be about your hip, or about how far you want your jacket to come down. So from the hip, again around, you're going to mark 2 points here. One is going to be on the spine, and the other part is right over here directly underneath the armpit. Okay? So both of these on your sheet will be known as D1. We're specifically using the higher portion, not the actual hip measurement, because we're doing just a jacket, not a pair of pants. Now that we have all of the points mapped out, we are going to take a tape measure and we're going to drape it along the spine to measure the distances between A to J, A to B, A to C, and A to D1. The easiest way to do this is to drape the tape, and you can either clip it with a pin or a clothespin, wonder clip, anything like that. And you're just going to make simple notes. So from A to J, mark that down on your paper. From A to B, from A to C. Now you want to make sure you're not holding this tight, but you actually want to let it drape and come naturally. If I hold this tight, I might take this as a 16. If I let it drape and slide, it comes out as a 17 inches. So it does make a difference. So let it smooth and drape, and then down to D as well. Once we have those measurements, we are then going to start the circumference measurements. With the circumference measurements, we are going to be measuring around the body and specifically paying attention on getting seam to seam on either side. So we're going to actually start with the B measurement down here. We'll get back to J in a moment. So with B, you want to make sure your tape stays in line with the measurement you met, but you're probably going to want to start your tape right at the seam of your shirt. So from there, you're going to come through. That way you ensure that you're at the right level. And you'll come around, make your measurement, and record that. Now from here, if you're really good at math, you can just continue taking the tape along. I'm going to ask you to pass that around to the other side. And then grab your measurement again for the front of the chest. So side seam to side seam back, side seam to side seam front. So you can take your tape all the way around, do the math and split that properly. Or, being mindful, just start from this side again. I'm going to get you to slowly turn towards the camera. Yeah, and then just bringing it around side seam to side seam. That is also perfectly okay to do. All right, we'll turn you around once more. Hope you don't get too dizzy. You're going to do the same thing with C. So, side seam to side seam. You're going to spin you towards the front again. Right around the front, side seam to side seam. Now D is one where a lot of people get tricky because they think as the hip as being like their jeans or like their belt. You're going to get your side seam to side seam for D back here and you won't have problems. The tricky part is you need to keep it coming straight across and not let it dip as you would with a pair of jeans or with a belt or any other pair of pants. So straight across, no dipping. Now we're going to talk about J measurement and the I measurement because some people do find that tricky, so we're going to map this out very specifically. First, we're just going to let you relax your arms to your side. For the J measurement, you're going to go from dotted line to dotted line. Again, don't pull the tape tight because then you're going to make the back of your jacket too tight. Smooth it in so you get a better accurate measurement. I'm now going to ask you to raise this arm just out to the side. And I'm going to ask you to bend your elbow in a bit. Perfect, thank you. The I measurement, also known as the half back, you are going to start from J. You are going to smooth it out to here. And you will record that as your I. Then you will continue to do the measurement from J to the elbow. So on your sheet that's marked as Q. Continue along, smoothing as you go to elbow. You'll mark that point as Q. The reason we have the elbow bent when we are doing a sleeve measurement is because it allows for enough movement in your arm, whereas if we left the arm straight, you might find as you bend and move that your sleeve shifts and becomes shorter. So now we're going to bring it around and up to the wrist. This is your R measurement. So you're going to do the J, the I, the Q, and the R all in one go, smoothing the tape as you go. For the arm measurements, on your sheet known as K, L, M, and N, you are going to measure different points in the arm, and the elbow is going to be ever so slightly bent and relaxed in that position. That will also allow you to ensure that the bicep or forearm can be flexed so that you have the right amount of room in your sleeve. So K is going to be either bicep, usually a flexed bicep, or whatever is the widest part of your upper arm, to ensure that, again, there's enough movement in your sleeve. You're going to do the same for elbow, but elbow is going to stay bent because if you straighten your elbow, it's going to change your measurement. So keep it bent. For the widest part of your forearm, usually, again, it's a flexed forearm because that does tend to get a little bit pumped up while you're fencing. And the wrist as well. When it comes to the body, some aspects are asymmetrical. So you might find that due to whatever physicalities, injuries, strengths, you might have one arm that measures different than another arm. And if that is the case, do provide separate measurements for left and right. The final measurement that we're going to take is for the neck. Now, if you tend to wear your gorget underneath your jackets, you'll want to wear your gorget before you take this measurement. If you wear your gorget over top of your jackets, then take just the straight neck measurement. This would be the same as any neck measurement for any shirt, collar, jacket that you would take. You're simply going to take the tape gently around and mark. Again, not pulling the tape too tight, because then that will make it too tight. When it comes to measurements for a female form, we do have to take extra measurements to account for the bust. So your B measurement does start off as the bust, which will come around from seam to seam, straight through here. In addition to the bust, which is labeled B, you're going to take an over bust, which is labeled B1, and you do want to mark where that would be as well. B, and then you're going to take an under bust as well, which is labeled B2. Kind of almost where your bra elastic band sits underneath. Okay, so that would be for B, B1 and B2. There's an additional measurement called B3 on your sheets. What this does, and I'll let you just drop that hand to the side there, is it takes from your shoulder right here to the B1 measurement. You want to measure that distance, and then from the shoulder to the B measurement right in front, and then from the shoulder to the underneath here as well. This is to ensure that we create enough movement for you within your jacket so that you have the best fit possible. I hope that this video tutorial was helpful for you in getting the measurements needed to order your light fencing jacket. If you do have any questions or concerns regarding any of the measurements, please send us an email through the Hema Gear Canada website. Thank you.